Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com, and today I'm actually at Crossroads Mall north of Beckley. It's actually considered Mount Hope right here, but everybody knows that this is the Beckley area of West Virginia, and I'm just basically doing a turnaround in the parking lot and getting back on Route 19 and driving south through Beckley. This is basically just a reverse of one of my videos I actually put out probably about a month ago. But I figured, well, since I had not posted this video up, put anything with it, I thought I would talk about some interesting stuff, some spooky stuff, but stuff about Beckley too that could, well, be informative to you. So there was a video that came out a couple days ago, and it was me driving downtown Beckley. And I could do circles around that downtown area 400 times and still be able to tell stories just about that little area. And I talked about the fire of 1912. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about a building that's down there. And it was basically off of Kanawha Street. I think it was the corner of Kanawha and Main, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to talk to you about it in particular, the building, and then talk to you about a ghost story that goes along with it. So basically, it's on the National Register of Historic Places. It was placed there in 1994, and it's the Beckley Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Building. It was originally a performing arts center dedicated to the Raleigh County veterans of World War One. The idea of a memorial building came shortly after the end of the war, so planning and fundraising began in 1922, and the structure was completed in 1932. In addition to hosting numerous live performances, the building uh, has at different times housed a variety of different things. The Beckley YMCA, the Raleigh County Library, Raleigh County Courthouse. One of the most famous speakers to perform at that building was Helen Keller, who came to Beckley in the 1960s. It has been occupied by the House of Worship Church since 2013, and the memorial building is part of the Beckley Courthouse Square Historic District. So I'm going to tag my last video where I drove around the downtown area, just so you could see the downtown area, because the building is in that area is what I was talking about. But now for the spooky part of it. So back World War One, of course. It was after World War One when they started to build the building. And basically the spooky story is it's Raleigh County's Theater of Spirits. People flocked to celebrate and honor the veterans at the Soldiers Memorial Theater. The bleachers filled up as people were seated, but there were too many people, and the seats collapsed. Now, this was after, of course, after it opened in 1932, but no one was killed in the fall. But that is still just the beginning of the story. There's a bad omen that hovered over the theater from its start. Bob is the ghost, and he could tell you if he were still alive. Maybe he will still tell you. He hangs around the theater, and you can hear his footsteps at night. Bob lived in the basement. He was an older gentleman still roaming his old home in his 1930s style attire. He has also been spotted from the balcony, and then there was a female voice that also haunts the area. She whispers through the halls, and sometimes she will just simply say the word balcony. It's not clear whether she's warning or inviting the late night guests to the theater, but it seems there's more to the story of the balcony that has yet to be uncovered. Also, you can hear disembodied whispers and footsteps. Um, They aren't only the ghosts that we mentioned before, but sounds of the children laughing can be heard. You can hear a saxophone sometime playing, even when there's not even a saxophone in the building. So uh, I found that pretty interesting. I found that online when I was just looking up ghost stories, and it was Ghost Stories of Southern West Virginia. The website was Visit Southern West Virginia, visitwestvirginia.com, Southern West Virginia Ghost Stories, and that came out about 12 years ago. But of course, I would have loved to have been driving around the downtown area of Beckley, like I was in the last video, talking about it and pointing out where that building or theater was or is. But needless to say, that was in my last video, me driving around. But since I'm still in the Beckley area, I figured I would talk about it. And since it is October, of course, I got to talk about some spooky stuff. So that's not the only time that this place was mentioned. I found another article talking about it, so I'm going to read parts of it too. And it's the Soldiers Memorial Theater in Beckley. Like I said, it was built in 1931 and 32. But the first cornerstone was laid in the building November 15th of 1931, and the community gathered for a celebration. A group of the event goers climbed to the top of the temporary floor holding construction materials to get a better view. And then right before the invocation began for the ceremony, for the groundbreaking ceremony, I guess, uh, the floor gave out, sending the group of construction the construction stones crashing to the basement. And those 6 people were injured in the accident, but they did survive. The Big Book of West Virginia Ghost Stories say that the tuba player named Bob sustained neck injuries in the incident and was later given lodging in the theater. So that was the Bob that I referred to at the beginning of the story, in the last part of the story. That's the guy named Bob, and he was a tuba player. Like it said, he continued to live there until his death. Some people have heard knocks, whispers, and tapping in the basement, say that they believe they have seen his ghost. The book also says the paranormal investigation team once asked Bob to walk across the stage and heard his footsteps. So that's pretty neat. Multiple sources say that the most common spirit seen in the building is a man in 1930s style clothing who appears to be in his 60s. There is no word if he and Bob are the same ghost. Some witnesses say some of the unexplained voices, knockings, and tappings could be due to the nearby Civil War cemetery. So that's pretty interesting too. You can look up A Guide to the Haunted West Virginia by Walter Govinda and Mike Shoemaker that visited the theater in 1999, and they went inside the open door. They spoke to a woman painting sets, then looked around. Then said during their visit they heard some unexplained voices, but found no one there. So that was pretty interesting. The author said before they left, they spoke to the woman again. She asked them how they got in the building, and when they told her the door had been unlocked, she was surprised. They said she never told them she had locked it behind her, and no one else was around who could have unlocked it. So that's pretty interesting, too. So, yes, that building, which we're actually getting closer to it now. I do hate that I'm not driving downtown to show it to you, but uh, look back at my last video and you'll be in the downtown area and maybe you can spot it. If you all get a chance, look at Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State. That website is full of little ghost stories from this area. I greatly appreciate that site too for giving some interesting ghost stories, especially for this spooky season. Well, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you all later.